Gynecologists, what is the most horrible thing you have ever seen? Bon appetit. Gynecologist on call. Sometimes I come across unpleasant cases when a girl walks around with the same tampon for days and weeks. Necrotic vaginal cancer is not a bad thing either, but it's nothing compared to the worst case in my life. One day a 19-year-old girl came to our clinic and complained that she had a hairspray cap stuck in her vagina. Well, that's not a problem, I thought naively. But the catch was that she had put it in there when she was 15, which means it had been there for 4 years. She didn't explain her motivation for doing this, but it was clear that she was very embarrassed. Even before she undressed, you could already sense a truly terrible smell, which became much worse when I started to examine the problem. The cap was inserted with the rim facing up, and it was clear that over the 4 years it had become well embedded in the vaginal tissue. The difficulty of extraction was further complicated by the fact that this cap had pierced her bladder and rectum. To remove it, several extensive surgeries had to be performed. I'm not a gynecologist, but I know someone who recently had a hysterectomy removal of the uterus. In short, the girl had stitches in her vagina that needed time to heal. But she was so eager to resume her sex life that she couldn't resist and gave in, which resulted in her small intestine falling out of her vagina. They told me everything in such detail that I think I'll never be able to eat ground meat again. According to the girl herself, when she was on her way to emergency surgery, she could feel the intestine lying on her leg and pulsating. How do you delete someone else's comment here? Back in high school, I had a friend who was really afraid to go to the gynecologist. When she finally worked up the courage to go for her first pap smear, she got so nervous that she clamped the doctor between her legs like a vice. According to her, it took a while before she was able to relax and let the doctor go. It was extremely awkward. Now, of course, she laughs about it, but her shyness regarding her own female organs hasn't gone away. She doesn't even like using tampons. I'm a medical student. Once I signed up to assist in a hysterectomy. When we were heading into the operation, we were told it was a small case of ovarian cancer, but it turned out to be much more frightening. All of the patient's internal organs were covered in metastasis, so we spent 13 hours just trying to reduce their volume, even though the whole operation was supposed to take about 3 hours. At certain stages, we were assisted by colleagues from general and vascular surgery. We ended up replacing half of the patient's blood volume. After everything she went through, she felt extremely unwell. She had a long and difficult post-operative period, but in the end, she somehow recovered and returned home to her family. For all of us, it was an extremely exhausting case, but both the patient and her family turned out to be truly wonderful people. So it was an honor for us to help.